Bureau Impersonation Division. Thank you all. We are here today to alert the public of an ongoing scam that's happening out there in reference to Social Security. We want to make sure that the public knows that people are calling forcibly, claiming that they're from the Social Security Office or from other local, state, federal agencies. And the department has released a new public video, which you will see here shortly. And what we want to really tell people is make them aware of this new Social Security scam. And what we want to tell people is to make sure if they get a phone call like this, to please hang up. We've lost millions of dollars, have been stolen have been scammed from the public in reference to the scam. In 2019, year to date, we have had over 200 complaints and over $2 million stolen just in the Social Security scam. Compared to last year, in 2018, for the whole year, we only had 3 of them. So this is really important. This really does not affect, it affects all types of New Yorkers, all ages, all races, and all genders have fallen victims to these type of complaints. I'm going to introduce Deputy Inspector Jessica Corey again, and she's going to be able to tell you how these scams are happening. Jessica?
Thank you, Chief. Good afternoon, everybody. So with this scam, what's happening is you get a phone call, and you'll see Social Security Administration, you'll see NYPD, you'll see FBI, something on your phone. You'll get a call, and it could be a robocall where it says, you know, please call back to this number, or it'll say press 2 and you'll be connected, or you'll get a live call. And what happens is you receive this call, and they tell you that your Social Security number has been involved in fraud, or money laundering, or drug trafficking. And they don't just ask you for money right away. What they do is they tell you, get a pen and get a pad. Write this number down. This is your case number. These are the numbers of all of the accounts that have been opened in your name. They give you their information. What they also then possibly transfer you to somebody else, and that person purports to be law enforcement, and they back up the entire story you've been told. They then tell you that to secure your funds, you have to do something outside of the box, which is to go out and get prepaid gift cards, often Google or Apple cards or Target cards, or go and put your money into a Bitcoin account. And basically, you'll get your money back eventually, but you're going to do this to safeguard your money. And they're basically terrifying people. People are terrified in this case. And you think, as the chief mentioned, this is not, you hear Social Security, you think senior scam. This is not a senior scam. Relatively few numbers of seniors are scammed here. It's mostly younger people. We had a taxi driver leave a fare at LaGuardia and drive all over the city going to purchase prepaid gift cards. We had a mother with 2 small children, an 8-month-old baby, running around to Apple stores to buy prepaid gift cards. And what happens is when the scam is complete, people realize they've been scammed, and then they're embarrassed, they're ashamed, and they don't tell people what happened. So we produced a video, and we're going to show that video to you. We want to get this message out. This is debuting today, and we're going to play it now.
Phone scams involving Social Security Administration imposters are on the rise. When you hear Social Security scams, you think of seniors, but this scam is affecting people of all ages
from all walks of life. Millions of dollars are lost every year. Here's what you need to know. If you receive a phone call appearing to be from the Social Security Administration, be it from a person or a robocall, it's very likely that this is a scam. Scammers use technology called spoofing to manipulate your caller ID so it displays the number of the Social Security Administration, police, or other government agencies. The caller may say that your Social Security number has been suspended due to fraudulent activity, or it's been involved in a crime like drug trafficking, or that your bank account is about to be seized or frozen. The caller may even say that there is a warrant for your arrest. Often you'll be transferred to someone who is impersonating an NYPD officer or another fake law enforcement representative who will back up the story. They will scare you into thinking the only way to safeguard your money or to avoid arrest is to purchase prepaid gift cards, such as Apple or Google Play. The scammer may request you send cash through FedEx, a Bitcoin ATM, or to wire money to a new protected bank account. This is a scam. Do not send payments under any circumstances. Just hang up. Remember, the real Social Security Administration, police, and other government agencies will never contact you by phone and demand payment or ask for your Social Security number, driver's license, or bank account information, period. If you've lost money in one of these scams, go to your local precinct to file a report.
So as you can see on the card that we have up here, there are a lot of other scams besides the Social Security scam. This one just has a fast-growing scam, and one of the things that's so insidious about it is that there's law enforcement or potentially, people are being told the NYPD is involved, and that we really want to make sure that that doesn't happen and people understand that that's a scam. But to talk about some of the other scams that we have Captain Michael Gandolfi, who's from our intelligence bureau, and he's here actually to speak about a personal story that happened with his family.
Thank you. Hello. So my parents were the victims of a scam. One morning they received a phone call, and the scammer told them that I was involved in a car accident where I was texting and driving, and I injured a pregnant lady who lost her child in the car accident. And my mom couldn't call me because my phone was held as evidence. So they used that, and then they fished my mother for information. They fished for my wife's name. They fished for the fact that I had a daughter. Ultimately, taking over almost $30,000 from them. One thing that I want to say is, aside from telling your family members and friends about these scams, it's important to remind them, because I have spoken to my parents about scams before, but some of these scammers are just so good that it's worth repeating, for your loved ones and friends. Yeah, just hang up also.
If anybody has any questions, yes.
Could you speak a little more to how they're able to put it up on your phone that they're from Social Security or the NYPD?
Okay, I'm going to give that to the inspector.
Yeah, that's a great question, and obviously that first and foremost in the world of crime prevention, that's how we prevent these things. They use a spoofing mechanism where essentially you're going to see a number that potentially could not only represent the police or something to that effect, or become just unknown. So with that mechanism, it's tough to backtrack, if that answers your question.
So how does it come up on the phone? It says that the NYPD.
It potentially can, where you could even spoof, and once again, for clarification, a particular precinct or the like, so the vulnerability for that individual obviously becomes enhanced in that they do think it's the real police. But the real police are not questioning and asking you to send money. It just doesn't happen.
How would it happen if the police had to get in contact with you for something like this? Like, we know what the wrong is now, but if you did have to get in contact with someone, what can people expect the right way to be?
I mean, it certainly wouldn't be an essence of owing money or something to that like. Yeah, the police are not going to ask you for money. It's simple as that. So if that's the mask that any mechanism or individual is using, it's false, period.
At the end of the video, the advice was to go to your local precinct, file a report. Obviously, these are notoriously difficult crimes to investigate. What happens after that report is filed on your end?
Yeah, and once again, just a message to the public is every piece a potential lead creates opportunity for the investigation, meaning if you send money, if you are a victim of this scam, and you ultimately send any amount of currency, those transactions, those cards that are sent, normally when people use a card, they just toss it. Those are all pieces of our puzzles, so certainly investigatively, that's what we look for. Also, the timeliness of the report. We have a small window of opportunity, usually 72 hours, potentially to get that money back. A lot of people are embarrassed and shamed. If they're a victim of this crime, they have to come forth.
So have you been able to find some of these scammers and recovering money?
We do have success stories. We have arrests year to date. Many of those investigations are still active with sentencing pending, so we prefer just not to get into the semantics of them.
Is there any reason now in particular that you want to bring this to the forefront?
Just that we saw the huge increase in these numbers, and also the Federal Trade Commission is seeing the same thing nationwide. I believe last month they reported that they had 76,000 complaints regarding this particular scam alone, with $19 million in losses, and that superseded the 2016 IRS scam where they had $17 million in losses. One thing I just want to clarify with what the inspector said, the 72-hour window is potentially for wire fraud, for money that was sent via wire. As far as these gift cards, usually they're cashed in almost immediately and people cannot get their money back.
Is there any big percentage-wise, like how much it's increased in the past few years? Is it-
Well, this scam went from last year being 3 for this particular scam to this year we have 230, so it's over a 7,000% increase.
Do you think there's one group behind all of this, that they're just networking, here nationwide, or?
Yeah, I mean, while we think there's one system where individuals will actually have a really multi-layered approach to this, where they'll basically go and do random call-outs to individuals if somebody shows a vulnerability. For example, if I call and say, hey, your grandson's in trouble, and you say something to the effect of which one, Mark or John, I'm going to play off that. That'll then go to the next layer of individuals that'll try to circumvent that and really work on that vulnerability and work on that name and really create a bond, if you will, between the two, and making them more vulnerable.
Well, yeah, I was actually just gonna ask, I mean, scams have been going around for years. My grandmother had the same thing happen, what happened to you. How do you cater to the ever-changing tactics that they use? How do you really go about kind of changing with the ebbs and flows that they too change?
So we look to get the information out to you, of course, and try to see what we can do. They change, but it's always really the same thing. Somebody's calling you. Somebody's asking you for information. Somebody's asking you for money. So they change, but they're often really the same type of scam. And what we really want to get out is don't give money to anyone who calls you over the phone. Don't give information to anyone who calls you over the phone. Just hang up. And that's really the same for all of these scams, no matter what they are. And also to just talk to a family member or a friend. Well, I can tell you with this scam, when they have you on the phone, when they tell you, they'll Google places for you to go to buy gift cards, for instance. When you go to buy them, we've done a lot of work with the companies that sell them, and they try to stop the people from buying them, or the banks try to tell people not to send the money, but the people don't believe them, or they're on the phone with the scammer the whole time, and that person's telling them, don't tell that person anything. Tell them that you need these cards for a wedding, or you need these cards for gifts for friends and things like that. So they stay on the phone. They're very intimidating.
What kind of amounts are we talking about, like you said, $30,000?
So individually, we've had losses. We've had wire transfers of over $400,000 with one person. Another person, $49,000 wire transferred. We have people going into Apple stores and buying $10,000 worth of gift cards. But what they do is they tell them to go to multiple stores so that they don't raise suspicions.
Talk a little bit more about the gift cards. So they ask you to put money on a gift card and then send it to them? Is that?
So you basically purchase the gift card, and then you have to send them the information off of the gift card, and sometimes they actually have you take pictures of the gift card and send it.
Is there also outreach to retailers, stores going on as part of the seminar?
Yes, so this scam card that we have one that's, it says basically in collaboration with this business, and we're working with all of the retailers as we watch this scam and the other scams, and we look to see where are the cards being purchased. And we're working with Apple and FedEx and Target and Bitcoin vendor, ATM vendors, because, you know, a lot of them are happening there as well. We're going to places where they have Bitcoin ATMs and putting up these messages at the locations.
Great, thanks everyone.